Hey, John.
Hey, what's up, Ben?
Not too much. Just wondering where you're at as far as setting up the roster for the CS.
In the thick of it. A couple of question marks, I think, just to kind of take care of as today goes on. But otherwise, feel good about where we are, but kind of have to see how this workout goes today.
Would there be room for a little more pitching length, like a Max or Chris, with the series being longer this time?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely fair to say. They're both feeling good and, are definitely ready and available. And different format, obviously, 7 games, 3 in a row, all that kind of stuff. So, I could definitely see them being part of it.
Go to the third row, Ben, if you can just pass it ahead. Thank you.
Check. This is on. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not. Hey, it's Maury from the Roz and Mocha Show. I follow your brother Kevin on Instagram. He's a
Oh, boy.
mental health advocate.
Yeah.
For good reasons. It was good to see him at the game. Check. Is it on? It was okay. Cool. It was great to see your family at the games last week. Is there something that your brother said to you to help you that you're going to bestow onto the team and to the change room? Some sort of advice that he gave to you?
It's funny. Kev always calls me the second best coach in the family. He's been saying that for a number of years. Jury's still out on that, I think. But I think, it's cool to have, a family member. And for one, it's cool to have my whole family here, right? To have my boys and wife experience this. Kev's an open book, if you do follow him, I think what he always says is, be you, you know what I mean? It's kind of the message I gave to the team this year at spring training was do what you're good at, be you. I've tried to do that in this seat, in this job, and kind of let it rip, man. This game and this spot comes with a lot of scrutiny and pressure and all that kind of stuff, but I think as long as you're being who you are, whether it's myself, staff, or the players, you're going to be just fine.
Go one row behind to Shy.
Hey, John. Since we last spoke Wednesday in New York, what type of running has Bo managed to do, and is that right now where the question mark on his status for the ALCS lies?
Yeah, he's done more running the bases, I think, as we speak right now, and hit live yesterday. A lot of swings, looked pretty good. But I think kind of just seeing how he gets through running the bases, turning corners, things like that, and to kind of see how the rest of his day goes is kind of, I don't want to say our last decision, but one of them, and kind of just getting some feedback from him when he is done.
Is today the first time running the bases?
Yeah, today's first time on the bases. Yesterday was just kind of more running in the outfield, and we'll check in with him here shortly.
And just in terms of availability for the round, how much availability does Bo have to be on the roster?
Not sure yet, to be honest with you. We're trying to weigh out. I'm trying to weigh out. Is it every day? Is it off the bench? Obviously, you want his bat in the lineup. So I think just kind of getting to the spot with him and getting his feedback, him being part of it, how much, if at all, he's going to be compromised, and if not, okay. And then how that kind of affects everyone else that we're going to try to use and deploy. So it's to say everyday availability would be best case scenario. Yeah, that's pretty easy. But I think it's weird time crunch with the series starting tomorrow and him having to check some boxes here today too.
Third row right up front, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, Mike.
Further to that, if, say, you determine probably needs another couple days, can't play till Wednesday, and would you run a man short for 2 games? Is that something that might factor in?
It might, yeah. A little bit different with a pitcher than a position player in my mind. And how you can kind of cover it. I think you go into every game with a plan and how you want to use people. My biggest fear would be, if it is a couple days and you're playing a guy short, what is that going to do for your chances to win, right? So that's all part of the equation. We'll know more tomorrow. We'll know more tonight, you know what I mean, just to kind of see if that is an option and if that is the best thing for the first couple games.
And is there a thought to going 12 pitchers, or do you feel like you're probably going to stick with 13?
we've had conversations about both. I think you probably think towards 7-game series. The 5 out of 6 days, things like that. You kind of want to stay with the 13 pitchers, 13 and 13. But that's part of the equation too. Is what does it look like if Bo is available? What does it look like if he's not? And really just trying to do what's best for everyone involved.
Third row on your left, John.
Hi, John.
Hey.
Jays haven't been here for almost a decade. It's only the 8th time that the Jays have been in the ALCS. Thinking back through this season, I mean, this is the hardest ticket to get right now in the city. What's your message to fans, and what's it been like for you to play in front of all these fans all this season?
Yeah, it's been tremendous. I feel like the last second half of the year, really, whole year, they've come out and supported us, and I feel like you could feel the buzz in the city for a few months now. This atmosphere, I think you kind of have to be here to appreciate it in the postseason. It can be pretty deafening at times. So to the fans, I say thank you for coming, and thank you for making this a place that is noticeably different to play in when you get into this kind of atmosphere. So it's fun every single night. It was fun in the DS, against the Yankees. They were loud. It plays a part. It's easy for guys to get up and play here, and I think it's a tough place to come in and play as an opposing team. So we love the support. It's cool that you can feel it in the building, but it's really cool you can feel it throughout the city too.
Fifth row on your left, Mitch.
Hey, John. Max has basically thrown 2 starts over the last week, full starts. Has he just been kind of staying fresh, or is there anything specific you guys have had him working on over that time?
I think kind of a little bit of both. Definitely keeping himself ready in any really capacity, I think. But I think what he's working on is just trying to get back to being him in terms of delivery, finishing his pitches, being able to put the ball where he wants to, which I think was compromised at times over this season. So that's it, really. You want to keep the pitch count where it is. You want to make sure that he can do certain things, not just with his fastball, but his secondary stuff too.
And I'm sure you stayed up watching last night. I'm just wondering, what was your experience watching that game?
It's tired, man. That was a hell of a game. There's so many moving parts. Yeah, you can see where in the postseason, when you get into extra innings without the runner at second, you can get into some really, really tricky situations. I thought it was a hell of a baseball game from both teams and from both managers, to be honest with you. And it kept me on the edge of my seat. I went all the way through my dinner with my wife and back home at the condo. So it was entertaining for sure, but glad I wasn't, part of that one. That's a big-time baseball game right there.
On the row behind, Rob.
Hey, John, a lot of you guys have not gone ALDS to ALCS, but there's one guy who's going to be on the mound tomorrow who has. How much of is that an advantage, and what do you like about his ability to handle the next step in the big stage?
Yeah, I mean, Kev's just been so consistent, since he's been here, and he's been in big games here, just did a game 1, last week, and I think that his demeanor continues to impress me, whether it's a game in June or whether it's in a playoff game. He kind of doesn't budge. So having that veteran guy out there to navigate things in real time. Kev talked about the at-bat against Judge, game 1, 6th inning, where he wasn't afraid to walk him, you know what I mean, and did the same thing to Bellinger after that. And kind of when you have a guy with good stuff and you have a guy that can process what's going on in real time, you feel really good about his decision-making in those spots. So I'm looking forward to him tomorrow to kind of, getting the series off to a strong start, hopefully. And, there's something about his demeanor, just kind of his presence every day, where the day he's pitching, everyone feels a little bit more confident, I think, going into it.
And John, 2 years ago on Canadian Thanksgiving, we were here under different circumstances. Was there any point along the way that you really felt that you had turned a corner as a team?
Yeah, it's going to sound funny. I think we did last September. To be honest with you, when we were still playing and not where we wanted to be. I've said that before this year. I think that last year gave us a chance to really dive into some ways to get better, as opposed to late in the fall where the season ends not the way you want it to, and then you kind of get going. So I think that's when it started. I think being aligned with front office, with staff, with players really kind of started then. Not that it wasn't before, but I think we kind of used that as an opportunity to kind of self-evaluate, if you will. So going into spring training, you can kind of feel it. I've said that before. You're quietly confident about the group, confident about the work, the prep, the people that we added to. And you can kind of see it unfold in real time this year.
Fifth row on your right, John.
Schneider, what is it like going from last series where you're playing a Yankees team where you both know each other so much throughout the year to now a team that you guys haven't seen since May and really for both teams are almost completely different groups than they were at that point?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that the work doesn't change, the prep doesn't change, right? And I think there's a lot of people that are involved in that. So as the season kind of starts winding down, you start to pay a little bit more attention to these teams and moves that they've made, how they deploy, some tendencies and things like that. But it is different. It definitely is different. You could kind of say, the Yankees were a little bit different from when they were here, in the summer, and that team evolved. I think every team evolves a little bit, but I think kind of how Seattle's playing now, way different than last time we saw them for sure. Whether it's how the bullpen's used, some guys they've added offensively, some guys that have stepped up offensively. Definitely, they're a really good team. They're a good team for a lot of different reasons, and a team that we've been kind of looking at for a while, hoping that we'd be in the position we are, and kind of thinking that it's pretty good, likelihood that they're going to be here too.
One row behind, Keegan.
John, is the plan to keep Trey and Bieber 2-3 going into the series, or how does that look?
Most likely. That's kind of where we're at right now. Nothing definitive yet, but I think that that could be a definite possibility.
How's Trey handled some of this in between, like walking up to the bullpen in the last game? This is more new stuff for him.
Yeah, he's been great, man. He's been really wise beyond his years. Stuff is stuff, and kind of his performance speaks for itself. But it seems like every time we kind of throw a new wrinkle at him, he's ready for it. And whether it was, and for the record, Trey wasn't pitching in Game 4. I don't know if I said that after the game, but I think when we kind of brought that to him, the fact that he didn't shy away from it was pretty cool. So he's been impressive, and I think that he's handled the in-between stuff really well. Kind of understands what we're most likely going to ask out of him, and give him credit for being able to adjust too. He did it the entire year in the minor leagues, and he's doing it now on a really big stage.
Second row up front.
Hi, John.
Hey.
A few days removed after that stressful Wednesday at Yankee Stadium, how do you reflect on how you and Pete kind of handle the game and the decision-making process?
It was. I think I said it after the game. I don't really remember that clearly, but you take a lot of pride in it, right? It's a tough needle to thread, and it wasn't just me and Pete. It's a lot of people involved in there. And it was a little bit more than usual. We usually meet before, every game, probably hour and a half before. You talk through possible scenarios. I was really proud of the way that, myself, Pete, Graham, Sam, Luke Hoey, who doesn't get, a lot of recognition on the field, but in the office with the pitching side, how we were ready for it. I texted that group and said, this is an opportunity to have some fun. And they all responded, so you have the plan, and then ultimately I'm the one watching in real time. Okay, do we need to deviate, right? It wasn't one plan. There were probably about 5 plans. And I said it before, everyone thinks of a bullpen day as a bullpen day, but you have to score and you have to play your game too, and the guys did that as well. So it was nice, and to see everyone be ready for any situation. This damn fly. Was really cool. And that comes with Graham being on top of the messaging, on top of the way they're getting ready, not getting hot if they don't need to get hot, being okay with coming in the third inning if you're Sir Anthony Dominguez. There's a lot of moving parts. So something that we'll look back on. We have looked back. We've talked about it a couple times since. And just kind of how fulfilling it was that everyone was really on the same page, and the players went out and executed it.
Yeah, how much confidence does that give you, like going to the next series after executing something like that?
Yeah, I think the more you do it, the easier it gets, and it's fun to watch. I've always said this group is awesome at going on to the next thing, right? It could have been, you asked Louis Varland to go out and start the game where he gives up a couple homers the night before, and he could have went about it totally different. He could have been a little gun shy, and it was the exact opposite. So I think you feel good about that and how they responded, and you feel good about the fact that they're pretty adjustable down there too. So it was a fun but stressful game to maneuver through.
Do a couple quick ones, Dan.
Schneider, I think when you talked about Scherzer and Bassett staying behind and throwing here, Max threw like 90-something, I believe.
Yeah.
And Bassett was more like 45 or 50, if I'm not mistaken. Where is Bassett at physically in terms of being stretched out? Like, what kind of a role could he have if he's on the roster?
Probably, at the very least, he could probably give you that. Probably 3-4 innings. He feels a lot better than he did, end of the regular season, even last week. So I think he's recovered physically well, which is what we wanted him to feel. But he could pitch 1 inning. I think he could pitch 4 or 5. He kind of has. I've said it before. Chris does weird well, and he understands that this time of year, whatever we need from him, he's going to go out and give. So purposely tried to keep some length there with him, and wanted to keep Max stretched out too.
And didn't see after the game, but just to clarify what you just said now, Savage was not going to pitch. That was just all for smoke and noise.
Guys, yeah.
And,
yeah. I talked to Ken about it in the third. He was asking when it was a good time to come in. I kind of had a fly on the fly there, Kenny. Sorry, but yeah, he was not pitching.
Dramatic walks out to the bullpen.
Yeah, he's got to cross that off his list. Yeah.
Go to Shy on the left.
I called that, by the way.
I did say Kev was more likely than Trey. I did give you guys that.
Bullpen games, the Dodgers used 2 of them in the NLCS last year, even in Game 5 of the NLDS with Milwaukee and the Cubs. They're getting creative. I'm just wondering, how do you see that being a consistent part of how you guys might roll out in a series in the postseason? And then how different are the challenges in a 7-game versus a 5-game in employing a bullpen game?
Yeah, a little bit different with just the number of games, right? Probably harder to pull off what we did in Game 4 without the off day after that. So are we going to look to – I think we're going to look to just take the best chance we can to win every night, If it's a short start, if it's a long start, you got to kind of read it in real time. And then kind of see where you are in terms of availability, performance, and schedule, So I think that the fact that we've done it, I think gives us a lot of confidence in preparing for it if we need to. If we don't need to, I think we have enough guys that are available, to do that kind of traditionally as well. I do think the way rosters are set up and bullpens are set up, it's a real thing. It's a real way to go about trying to win. You know what I mean? Can you do it every day in a regular season? No, because people are human and they're gonna get tired. But I think when you can match it up accordingly, when you're trying to win a select number of games, you're trying to win 4 out of 7. That's the best way to go about it. We'll definitely do whatever we can.
All right, Schneider, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. We'll start in the 3rd row on Kevin's left over here. The 3rd row on the left.
Hey, Kev, how's it going? Good to see you. How do you stay calm knowing tomorrow is such a huge game and job for you? What do you do to stay calm?
It's just another start. Everything's the same. There's a lot more of you guys to talk to and more cameras, but, once the game starts, it's still a game.
Go 1 row ahead to Buck, please.
Kevin, you've had a long career and you've thrown to a lot of different catchers. You've thrown to Kirk more than any catcher you've thrown to. What makes him so special and gives you so much confidence that he's going to do a good job for you?
Kirk really takes his job really seriously. He's one of the few guys that takes the game, whether he's in the box hitting or, behind the dish, he takes them both extremely seriously. And he gets prepared for a game, better than most guys I've ever caught that have caught me. Practicing catching the low ball, that was the thing that, that wasn't a thing 5 years ago, even, maybe a little bit later than that. But the pitching machine out there, them just throwing curveballs at guys and them working on, catching and framing pitches before the game. And I think that's a huge thing that you've seen in the last, 5 whatever years that has obviously become a big part of the game and, why ABS is coming into existence, right? So, Kirky is such a good low ball catcher that he's at least going to give you that, and he's an exceptional blocker, and he throws the ball extremely well too, and he loves trying to throw guys out. So he's always trying to back pick guys, and really just kind of locked in on all aspects and facets of the game, to be honest.
Third row up front, Mike.
Kev, I know there's still work to do, but you've said multiple times that the reason you came here is to win a championship, and now that you're another step closer and 8 wins away, how does that feel?
Yeah, it's fun. It's even more fun to do it with this group of guys. It's a special group of guys that are, no one's selfish in this bunch, and you've really seen that. If you've watched us play at all this year, I think if you've come to an entire series, you're not going to walk away with, I love this one guy. You're going to have a lot of guys that you really like to watch play, and they play the they play the game the right way, and they play fundamental baseball, and so they make it really easy to root for.
And the last series they had Aaron Judge to deal with. This series it's Cal Raleigh, who's really come into his own this year, but he's always been this guy against you guys. Is there a special plan for him? Do you have to treat him the same way that you guys treated a Judge?
I don't know. I don't know yet. We'll have those conversations probably later today or tomorrow. But what a season he's had, and what a great switch hitter at such a hard position to hit. To catch as many games as he has. What a season he's put together. I also feel confident with myself that I can go out and get him out. I've got him out before, and so. Now it's just about mixing up pitches and trying to kind of keep them off balance.
One row behind, Jake.
When you got here a couple years ago, Vlad was only 23 years old. He was a big star at the time, but in what ways have you seen him grow over the last 4 seasons as a hitter, as a player, and as a person?
Yeah, I think as a player, I think we've all seen it. I think before he kind of would try to push the envelope a little bit and pick kind of some spots to maybe take some big swings where, maybe he shouldn't. But, he's really kind of come into his own when it comes to plate discipline and knowing exactly what he's looking for. And, I give some credit to Popkins and those guys too as well. He's been locked in. His at-bats this season have been, some of the best that I've seen since I've been here. Everybody talks about, I think, 2020 when he was here, and how kind of he jumped onto the scene that year in 21. But this year I think has been the best that I've seen him, and obviously, last series he was incredible, and but defensively too. I think people don't give him the credit that he deserves, which is crazy because he's already won a Gold Glove, but. He's an exceptional first baseman, and he's great at throwing. And, a lot like Kirk, he loves to throw guys out too. So, he's pretty invested in the game, and he's always thinking. And he's a fun guy to watch play.
And when you say, when you talk about his plate discipline specifically, is that him developing an understanding of if the pitcher misses in the zone, I can do damage, but I need to force him into my zone? And as a pitcher, what is difficult about facing one of the elite hitters when they're playing their game against you?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like I've known Vladdy enough now to where I can watch an at bat, and when he kind of shimmies and kind of does his thing, you can tell he's feeling pretty good. So usually when he does that, something good is going to happen. He always hits the ball hard, so you can kind of count on that, but. It's his ability to get to so many different pitches. He can get to a fastball up and in. The big grand slam was, I think, 97 in. He's a guy that can really get to the ball in, but he can also flip you for a base hit if you just throw him sliders down and away. And I think his maturation the last couple of years has been understanding what guys are trying to get him out with and kind of using that to his advantage.
Across the aisle, Kevin, third row on your left.
Hi, Kevin. You've been here for 4 seasons. I haven't heard the Rogers Center so loud as it was for the Game 1 start at the ALDS. What's it been like for you to play in front of these fans and see that audience, that the enthusiasm for it? All through the streets, people are wearing Jays gear, the buzz.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been a lot of fun. You know, we have really loved playing at home, especially the last 2 months. You know, we feel the love when we play here, and yeah, I mean, even just driving around the city, you notice everybody. You know, they used to be wearing Yankees hats, and now they're kind of wearing. You know, you see a lot more Blue Jays hats in Toronto, and you know, so it's turned into a really exciting. You know, I think part of that has to go to the organization with what they've turned Rogers Center into. I think as a fan, it's really a great fan experience now, whereas, you know, before I don't know if it was as nearly as good as it is now. You know, it's kind of one big party some nights. I mean, you know, you can hear the music up there in the Corona rooftop, and you know, I don't know how many bars there are in here, but I think everybody's drinking and having a pretty good time, and that's why they're pretty loud.
The hats, how long are they going to stick around for?
I don't know. You know, we'll see. Everybody likes wearing them, and nobody's going to go against them right now. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Go to Rob in the sixth row.
Hey, Kevin. John was just in here, and he spoke a little bit about how significant last September was in terms of a bit of a reckoning with the team, and maybe that was a little bit of a turning point. You've talked about it as well. Was there any point that you thought that things maybe turned the corner in this team getting to where it is today?
You know, definitely the conversations that we had in the off season of, you know, kind of looking inward at what we needed to change, you know, what things we really thought we were lacking. You know, but honestly, the biggest thing was probably spring training. You know, I just remember looking back, like first week and a half. I mean, I'm watching Max Scherzer throw, you know, 75 pitch bullpens on day 2. You know, I was pretty fired up for like looking at our team and, you know, what we could be. And so I think we all really just had confidence in ourselves and in the talent and in each other, and, you know, knowing that, you know, older guys looking at some of these young guys that like, hey, they could really take the next step, and they have. And so, you know, all those things kind of coming together, obviously, have you know, got us to where we are.
Greg, up front on your right, Kevin.
Kevin, what did it mean to you to get another Game 1 start, and do you relish the opportunity to try to set the tone for the series?
Yeah, for sure. You know, anytime you're handed, I said this before, anytime you're handed the ball for what is the most important game up to this point, you're always going to be fired up and ready for that. And so I'm excited to see what tomorrow night is going to be like here, and I'm ready to go.
Ken in the fifth row on your left, Kev.
Kevin, 2019, that's the year you got waived, claimed by the Reds, then you get non-tendered at the end of the season. What lessons, if any, from that year have you carried forward and applied today?
You know, just belief in myself, to be honest. You know, even when I was in the bullpen in Cincinnati, I still believe that I could be one of the best pitchers in baseball. And so maybe that I was a little naive, but, you know, that's just kind of the confidence that I have in myself.
One row ahead to Shy.
Hey, Kev. As someone who's come out of the bullpen in a postseason series to pitch late in the game the way Gilbert and Castillo did last night, can you describe how taxing an experience that is for a starting pitcher to throw under those circumstances?
Yeah, you know, I'll be lucky. I've only done it twice, I believe, or maybe 3 times. And 2 of them were, you know, I was 22. I was Trey, so I felt pretty good every day. You know, but yeah, you know, it's definitely taxing. But at this point in the year, you're pitching on adrenaline. You know, you're playing for each other. You're playing for the guys next to you, and you know, you kind of saw that. I mean, I was sleeping, I didn't see it, but a lot of these guys pitched, you know, last night, and really kind of gave their team a great effort to go on. And so, you know, you got to kind of give them credit, and that's just kind of playoff baseball, and it's really fun. I mean, me and Max joke 2021, we were both pitching Game 5, in the NLDS, so in the 9th inning, so coming out of the bullpen. So, that's just kind of what you kind of have to expect, and as a fan of baseball, I think it's a lot of fun.
And just physically, what are some of the things that you're doing, have done over these couple weeks, both before the ALDS start, before this one, that maybe is different from the stuff you'd be doing during the regular season to prepare?
Yeah, I mean, more so just kind of load management. If you're doing 5 reps, kind of take it down to 4 or 3, and kind of go down to how you're feeling. But yeah, you're pitching on adrenaline. Once you get out there, you're gonna be feeling pretty good.
Do 2 last ones, Mike and then Dan. Mike, go ahead.
Kev, when Schneider was in here, when Myles was in here, he talked about the Bo homer in Texas that he thinks sort of started to turn things around. But when you guys were in Seattle, I think you had lost 16 out of 21 and swept the Mariners. You had the first game in that one. How big was that series, given what had happened the previous 3 weeks, to getting this thing back on the rails?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, that was definitely a big series, big turning point for us. Definitely the first time we've swept them at home since I've been here. And I just remember George kind of saying how hard it is to do there, to sweep them at home. He'd played in that division for a really long time, and so it's just such a hard place to play. I mean, it's and I think especially the Blue Jays. I mean, when we go there, it's even if it's in the middle of the week, it's pretty packed and a really cool environment, and the fan bases definitely kind of go back and forth on them kind of talking crap about Canada and saying that the states are better and whatnot, and so it's kind of a fun rivalry for sure, and but yeah, that was a huge turning point.
And just as the caps again, you've got the old school logo on. Is this a conscious choice to bring that one in?
Yeah, this is just what I've been wearing for a while. Just playing catch and whatnot. Yeah, I just love these hats. I mean, this logo is so cool, and this was the Hall of Fame game. So, yeah.
We'll finish up with Dan.
Hey, Kev, you've got a lot of experience against some of the Seattle hitters, but you haven't seen them since May. How do you balance your personal experience against them versus things can change over 4 or 5 months, and you might get information that's a little bit different to your own personal experience?
Yeah, I'm a little bit different than most guys. I'm not Chris Bassett. I don't have 7 pitches, so I don't have to do as much deep diving. But yeah, I'll definitely take a look at their tendencies and kind of what they've changed, if I think they've changed their approach at all, or but that's kind of more something I can look at on video. And I said this last week, I didn't come up with a new pitch this turn through. I'm going to throw fastballs and splits, and sprinkle in some sliders. That's kind of my game, and I will take a look at maybe picking some times on their runners. They're a really good running team, so kind of going into that, I need to know, all right, spots when I can slide step and when I need to be quick, and what guys are going to try to steal third base from second, and there's a lot of different aspects of their game that they try to take advantage of. So, and that's why they're here.
And just out of curiosity, was it strange running in from the bullpen for the celebration as opposed to hopping over the railing from the dugout?
Yeah, it was. It was actually kind of cool because the last time I've been to the American League Championship Series was in 2014. We beat the Tigers, and I was out of the bullpen, and I ran in from the bullpen in Detroit. And so it's kind of a full circle moment, cool moment for sure.
All right, Kev, thank you so much. Have a great series. Appreciate it. For making the time, appreciate it. Who has the first question for Myles? We'll start with Dan. Straight ahead, Myles.
Hi, Myles.
What's up, Dan?
So many people have talked about what a special group this is. Why is this such a special group?
I think we just have fun on and off the field, no matter what we're doing, whether it's funny, serious, work, non-work. I think we all just really, truly, actually love each other, and I mean, it's like you guys, when you guys like each other on or off the field, it's just makes it a lot easier to work with. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of people I'll be in touch with forever.
And how have you felt? I mean, you could start 4 times a week and then not start for a week, come in every day, not come in for a few days. Does everybody 1 through 26 on this team value everybody else? Like, it feels like everybody values everyone almost equally on this team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're all just human beings, and I have all the trust in the world on, with everybody on this team and staff in general. I mean, from top to bottom, at some point or another, everybody or, anybody on the team has got the job done this year, whether it's a, reliever, starter, bench player, obviously the big dogs, they've done it all year. But, yeah, I mean, just truly, just very grateful to be a part of this team.
Third row right up front.
Hey, Myles. After you guys clinched the division, Bo was talking to the cameras during the celebration, and he said specifically, Ernie Clement and Myles Straw are the 2 people who hold this team together, the most important glue guys on the roster. What did it feel like for you to hear that?
I mean, it's cool. I think there's, 10 of those guys on this team, though. I think we all do a really good job of kind of communicating with each other and, keeping each other close. And, like for me, I could go on and say, for me, that's Chris Bassett on the team. And, there's other guys, Gauzy and, I mean, it's a good feeling for sure from Bo. But like at the end of the day, I think the whole team is the same kind of, same way for me. So, I mean, like I said before, I really do. I love these guys. It makes it easy to be here, every single day, and to truly, want to be here is the best feeling.
And did you watch the game last night? Did you guys all were the groups that got together? And as it just continued later and later into the night, what are you thinking?
So I probably shouldn't get too far into details, but me and Davis, we went out, had a couple beers, and we were trying to get out of there sooner than what the game ended. But it was fun. We sat there, met a couple fans out there. They were really cool. They were all like, "Oh, we hope we play this team. We hope we play this team." And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, as long as we play our brand of baseball, we're excited to be out there and competing. So it was fun. I mean, I get to pull Davis out like once a month, and got him out last night, and it was a blast. I mean, like I said, would like to got out a little bit sooner, but we had a good night. And today's a pretty relaxed practice day, so we were able to do it.
Second row, your left, Buck.
Myles, you came here in spring training, and obviously you knew a few guys from Cleveland, but what made you so comfortable and so confident that you could be a big part of this team as early as spring training?
I honestly, I wasn't really sure of anything in spring training. I just tried to come in and, try to surprise some new eyes that, I haven't been played in front of before, and just try to give my all, and wasn't really, focused on, too much other than just trying to be the best I could be each day. So, sure enough, had a solid spring and got to know the guys as, the spring went on, and obviously playing against like Bo and Vladdy, I've had small chats with those guys like on the bases and stuff. So you kind of can break in easier that way, just from kind of having a little chat here and there. So obviously the Cleveland guys here helped a lot, Sandlin and all those guys. And, there's some guys that ran through Houston too. I know Yemi was there and stuff like that. So, yeah, it made it really easy to come in and kind of know those guys. And then obviously you get in groups and they're talking to other people. And then within the first couple of days, you're already kind of, talked with pretty much the whole team. So it was a very easy team to come to, and very, very glad it was that way.
Oftentimes as players don't really think about how good their opportunities are. You had it taken away from you. You spend most of the year in minors. Ernie's been released. Davis has threatened to be released several times. How does that motivate a player to appreciate what you're going through right now?
Yeah, it'll light some fire under you for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way I can really explain it. I mean, just kind of fires you up, feels like you're kind of, doubted a little bit. So just got to take it as a little motivation and run with it, especially, change of scenery is always nice. I've had that a couple of times, and that's helped out a little bit. So I love it here. I mean, the city's great, the facilities, the people, I mean, everything. So very happy, and just blessed to be a part of all of this. Seriously.
Fifth row on your left, Mitch.
Miles, just wondering what the last couple of days since we saw you in the clubhouse in New York have been like, and when kind of the switch to, okay, what's next happened for you and the team?
I mean, just watching the game last night, kind of figuring out who we're going to play, and obviously just, I mean, we know both teams really well. I mean, I played against the Tigers for a few years, so I know AJ and those bullpen and the arms they got and the fields in general. So, it's been a while, I think April or whatever, since we played Seattle, so it's been a while since we got those guys, but I mean, I think we were all locked in and we all know what they got. I mean, those guys are really good. They've been good for a while, so just kind of knowing just what we're gonna compete against and knowing who we got. So we'll get in there, do some homework on them, and go from there.
Go ahead.
Just wondering what you remember. I think it was the last time was the first week of May. What you remember about that trip to Seattle and kind of some of the Jays fans coming down and that sweep you guys had there?
Yeah, I mean, I was warned that there's going to be a good amount of fans there, but I wasn't expecting that many. That was crazy. I've been seeing things like, the Blue Jays might have like 7 home games this series, which would be cool. I mean, it'd be nice to not play 7 games, but regardless, I mean, yeah, it's going to be cool to see all the Blue Jays fans come down from over there, and obviously our place is going to be rocking as always. So we're excited. I mean, wish the flight was a little closer, but that's only once or twice, so that's easy. So it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I think we got a good shot at this.
5 rows back on your left, David.
Myles, you mentioned the Cleveland connection. Naylor shouted you out after the game last night. Just wondering if you could take us into your friendship with him.
Yeah, Naylor's the man. I've loved Nails forever. He was one of the best teammates I played with for sure. Talked to him in the offseason all the time. Actually went to his baby shower throughout the season here. He had it while we were in Toronto, so that was pretty cool to be a part of that. And he's one of the best guys I played with. I mean, he's got your back. He's gonna, tell you what you need to know. He's gonna back you up. So, I'm always a Naylor fan, but obviously this series it's a little different. So,
stay over there.
Hi, Myles. Looking back to New York, how satisfying was that, watching that hit drop, coming up so clutch, and where does that rank for you in your career?
I mean, the hit was cool. I was just glad once we made that final out. That was the coolest. So I've been beat up in that stadium quite a bit over the last few years and, knocked out of the playoffs there. So to get that one over with was it was cool. I know a lot of people would have liked to see us clinch here in Toronto as, fans here. But at the end of the day, there's no other place on the planet I'd rather clinch than Yankee Stadium. So felt good, just a little sigh of relief there. And, bullpen came up huge there, obviously. And Schneider did a really good job running that game.
Second row right up front, Myles.
Hey, Myles, just to follow up on Josh, obviously he wasn't part of this Mariners team the last time you played them. I know you're not going to have to pitch to him, but you're well aware of what he can contribute. How does his addition to this team sort of change what they offer offensively, threaten the lineup that he presents?
Yeah, no, he's one of the best players, or one of the best hitters for sure that I've ever played with. He's a good bat. I mean, I've been watching, baseball more so over the last, just the last couple of weeks, kind of keep up with, who's left and who's not. And I feel like every at bat I watch of Naylor, he's like fouling these pitches off, and it's like it's 0-2, and I'm like, he could still get it done. Watch, and sure enough, that inning, I think they were down 2-1 last night, and he got that base hit in the 4-hole. It was an 0-2 pitch, like nice splitter down the way. And I'm like, look, there he goes again. So, and that led to that base hit from Rivas to left and scored the run, tied the game. So stuff like that. I mean, he's got the power, but he's kind of a pest at the same time. So he's just a complete hitter, and I've seen him ruin a lot of guys throughout the years. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, though, hopefully we shut him down next series.
One more, if I could. You said you didn't get to bed quite as early as you liked. I'm sure you got to bed quicker than most Mariners did last night, and you didn't have to fly across the continent today. You've already seen in the last series the impact of the benefit that rest can offer. How much do you think that will benefit you guys this time around, particularly given what happened last night?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys all saw it. 15 innings. They used all the arms, some starters. So, I mean, that's big time. They still got, I think Miller's throwing game 1. I'm pretty sure he's fresh. So, I mean, by the time these guys get rolling, I feel like they'll be, set to go. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is nice they had to all kind of participate in that game. So, just got to worry about us and, who's on the mound that day and just kind of take it from there.
Third row on your left, Myles.
Hi, Myles. The Blue Jays haven't been to the ALCS in almost a decade. A lot of people haven't experienced that kind of baseball. What's your message to Jays fans?
Shoot, we're excited. I mean, we're as excited as you guys are. Looking forward to, backing the city up and, doing more than just the ALCS. So, I have nothing else other than we're just really excited and prepared for the opportunity.
You'd stay over there with Shy and then Jake.
Myles, there was obviously the bit of rest after clinching the East and waiting for the wild card series, a little bit less this time. Just wondering if you can describe the benefits of that rest between the end of the regular season and the beginning of the DS, and maybe the shorter rest and how that's helping you guys this time.
Yeah, I mean, some guys, I feel like, I've been to the playoffs a couple times. I feel like, you see some of these teams get the week off, and then you look like, some teams will look like they're not prepared to play or whatever, just because, inter squads can be, whatever sometimes. But, for a team like us, we have a lot of veteran guys in there that know how to use the day offs properly and know how to come in prepared and what they're going to be, asked to do or whatever. And I feel like this round is nice. I mean, we still got our few days off and, not missing too much baseball and not having to, play those inter-squad games. But I think we're going to be ready to roll. I feel like that was the perfect amount of time to kind of miss and still, be locked in.
And for yourself, just on a personal level, what did you want to do between that longer break, and what did you do this time?
Oh, I mean, we would kind of play those inter-squad games the first time, and then this time it was just, optional live BPs, but probably get down there on traject, and for me, probably face the sole lefty they got. And, yeah, probably face him 1,000 times. Yeah.
Go across the aisle to Jake.
How's it going, man?
How we doing?
Good. I'm sure you watched Vlad from afar and knew he was a very good hitter. What has it been like being around him every day, and what about him as a hitter have you gathered by just being up close?
He's special. I get questions all the time about, like, oh, who you taking, Vlad or this guy or Vlad or that guy? And it's like, someone asked me Vlad or Cal Raleigh, and they're both superstars, like some of the best in the games. And I'm just like, dude, if we're in the bottom of the 7th of the World Series and I have to take one guy, I'm taking Vlad all day. I mean, he's just, he hits 300. He hits the homers at any given moment. Like, he's just, he's different. Like, he's probably the best hitter I've ever played with. You can never really count him out, whether it's 0-2, 3-0. You just don't know what he's going to do at any moment. So, he's special. He's a special person, special teammate, and he's actually mad at me right now. So hopefully he sees this and gives me a little love after this, because he's not talking to me for a week is what he told me. I'm not going to say why, but yeah, he's the man. I love Vlad. He's top notch, man. I really do. I really do love him.
I'll go to Hazel in the back.
Myles, when the Blue Jays front office acquired you, they took a lot of criticism for doing so. I'm curious, how much of that were you aware of? And now that you're here and have been a big part of the reason why this Blue Jays team is here, I'm wondering how satisfying it is for you. What are you thinking now?
I mean, it's all in the past. I definitely saw a lot of the criticism and stuff. So, like I said, you can kind of use that as fuel as a player. You can use it however you want to use it, whether you can let it get to you or, use it as fuel. I kind of took it that way. And at the end of the day, here we are today, and all that's irrelevant to me. So just kind of worried about what we got in front of us. And it's an awesome opportunity. Just very excited to be here. And, I mean, we just need 8 more wins. So looking forward to just one at a time, showing up tomorrow with these guys and getting after it.
Generally, what is the feeling amongst you and your teammates when Kevin Gausman starts a ball game?
I mean, it's the confidence. Like I said, we have confidence in everybody on this team. You can put whoever. It literally does not matter. Any single name, whether they're on the roster or not, anyone in this organization, and I'm going to believe in them, 100%. So Obviously, Gauzy's been doing it for us all season long. So, I mean, anytime he gets the ball, I feel like we got a good chance. So, looking forward to it. He brings the energy. I love watching him compete. He's a big-time competitor, and I think the Blue Jays fans are going to be ready to see him take them out tomorrow.
We'll finish up in the third row right in front.
Myles, just back to Naylor for a second. What did it mean to you when he came out to the wall in center when you hurt your ankle on that play on his double?
At the moment, I mean, Nails is the man. I definitely see where he was coming from, but at that time, I was like, man, please get out of here, please, because I didn't know. I've never been on the IL, so I didn't know what this ankle was really gonna feel like, in a day or two. Luckily enough, it wasn't terrible. I mean, I still, there's still days where I can still feel it, but not in a bad way. But he's the man. I mean, he's just looking out for my best interest, and I would never do that for him. If he was out there, I would never walk out there, that's for sure. But I thank him for that. He's a really good friend, and yeah.
And you talked a little bit about the rest and about what the Mariners went through last night and all that stuff. But can you give us, from your perspective, what it's like to play 15 innings and then have to get on a plane and fly across the country and play a huge game less than 24 hours after you land?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I was in Houston before. I've had my night game in Seattle, fly back after the night game, lose a couple hours, and then you're playing that day. So, and that was that. But after a 15-inning game, yeah, those boys are going to be a little exhausted. But, I mean, at this point in the season, it's, that adrenaline will, for me, that would be taking over all my sleep or sleep deprived or whatever I needed. So, you put me on the field after that, I think I'd be ready to go. But, yeah, it's definitely a little taxing on the body for sure.
And just quick, what'd you do to Vladdy?
No, I can't talk. We can't, yeah.
And we'll take one.
I got 6 days left, though.
We'll take a last quick one in the fifth row.
Real quick, Myles, when you guys swept the Yankees 1st of July there, that was a clear turning point we all look at. Was there a specific time for you guys, you players, in the clubhouse? We've talked about the vibes all season. Was there a particular time you guys thought something could be special here?
Yeah, we've talked about this a couple of times. Obviously, I'm close with all the guys, but we've talked about this as a team, and I feel like for us, or at least for me, I think the homer from Bo in Texas, that 9th inning to break the 0-0 score, I feel like that was it for me anyways. I thought that was sick, and ever since then, I thought the boys were rolling. So that homer to left field in Texas was a big one for us, I thought.
Myles, thanks so much for taking the time. Have a great series. Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
We'll start with Ben in the fourth row on your left.